Well, welcome to this extended version of the TeamWerks talk. It's me, Jen Laidlaw. We want to do this extended version because noticing that new and emerging leaders, professionals who are maybe just graduating college or even getting that first internship, sometimes have questions about team. How do I belong to a team? How do I work with my leader? What am I supposed to be thinking about or doing? And I wanted to be able to offer some support there. I have my TeamWorks intern, Ella Dunn, is here, and we're going to be going through some of the questions and topics that we felt were most important for new and emerging professionals to get answered. Ella, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, my name is Ella. I'm an intern here at TeamWorks, and I'm also a junior at Grand Valley University. I've taken a couple courses in leadership development, and I just think that this is a super important thing to do to talk about some of the questions that new people in a field feel like maybe they can't ask or don't know the answers to. And when you're starting those internships right out of school, and getting into your field, I think it's really important to get those questions answered and kind of be prepared for what it's like to enter your field.
Awesome. All right, so Ella's going to ask me some questions. I'm going to do my best to answer and offer some insights, and we'll see where this goes. So Ella, you have your first question for me.
So, what do you think are some of the biggest challenges for new leaders?
That's a great question. So I think that when you first you're part of a team, and you differentiate yourself and you're a high performing person and you show up and you do a good job and you become a leader, that transition of like always being kind of on the front line doing things versus now supporting the people that are doing things, it is definitely a different frame of mind. And one of the things that I notice, especially if you're a high performing person, your expectations about what the rest of, your new team is going to be able to do is sometimes not realistic, right? Because
Right,
you usually
right.
get promoted because you're so good. And so just tempering your expectations of how other people are going to be able to perform is important. The other piece that I think is really changing for new leaders is you're really comfortable with how you've been doing things, assignments or tasks or projects you've been working on. But sometimes the people that you're leading think differently than you. They want to do things differently than you. And thinking back, like now, when you were a frontline person, did you like someone kind of telling you exactly how to do stuff? Or did you
Yeah.
like, yeah, or
No,
did
yeah.
you like getting like, here's the outcome we're looking for, and here's what good, what a good result is, and then offering resources and support as needed, but giving people freedom to kind of implement or work on do their work how they see fit. Of course, within reason, right? Like there's
Yeah.
sometimes processes or procedures or laws that we have to follow, and making sure that we're providing that information to people, but giving people the freedom to do the work, and then giving them some feedback sometimes when it's not quite right on. But I think like that's one of the challenges for new leaders is like thinking about not doing so much but more leading, and then letting go of like how you like to do things and focusing more on outcomes.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it probably makes the people that are, being led feel more a part of the team too, like not just being bossed around. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, because everyone wants to feel smart and like
right,
they're providing value. And if you're telling them exactly how to do everything, ugh, you're
right,
kind of leaking into that. Like it leaves the impression that like you're not smart enough to figure this out, so let me tell you
right.
exactly how to do it.
Yeah,
And most people are smart and can
right.
and can and can figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, I think that kind of leads into the next one too with what's the best way to bring up a concern with your manager without overstepping?
Ooh. I think that, in the normal course of work, like people are very messy.
Yeah,
And people are I do believe people are doing their best, whatever that might look like. Like most people are trying their best. But when you have a concern about something, And I would say like I'm gonna take this from like you're a new employee maybe, or you're a new
Hmm.
professional person, you're a frontline person, and you're dealing with a leader.
Yeah.
Um, it is if you have a concern, don't hold on to it. Like you should share it as soon as possible. I'll temper that a little bit with like if you have tons of concerns, pick the one that is most important to you, that's
Yeah.
affecting your ability to do your work. Pick one because you can't come in, with 75 concerns, right? And like your
Right.
manager is going to feel overwhelmed too. Because after all, they're also just a person trying to do their job. So bringing one concern and then trying to be a little humble about bringing it, like just saying like I've noticed something and I wanted to share with you because it's kind of bothering me, and I'd just like to get your advice on how to maybe handle this, or kind of your perspective on why this might be happening, and then share it. So
Yeah.
coming at it kind of from like not like fix this for me or this is broken or I'm angry, but more of
Hmm.
like I've noticed this and I'm not quite sure what to do about it and I'm worried about it. Can you help me fix this?
Yeah. I think that's a
um
great way to approach it. Just asking for help when you
yeah,
need it sometimes.
yeah, which is
Yeah.
not easy for some people to do. Like
No.
myself, I don't like to ask for help.
Yeah.
So some,
Yeah.
yeah, so
Or
asking for help.
especially in the beginning when you're new, you want to feel like you're super competent and can handle things by yourself. But I think that not holding on to it, it can make it worse if you just keep going
Yeah.
sometimes.
And sometimes when you hold on to a concern, you start to get some resentment built up, or like you start to
Hmm.
get mad
You get
about it. Like,
angrier.
how can they not see this? And I would
Yeah.
say a lot of times everyone else is also busy, or everyone else is also focused on
Right.
themselves. They don't always know what's
Yeah, they don't
bothering
see it.
you or what's impacting your
Right.
ability to work. So, bring it up as early as possible, but kind of in a humble way, not an emotional way, but a humble, like, help me. I have this concern. Help me. Can you help me figure out how to address it?
Yeah, absolutely. My next one here is it okay to just say no when you're asked to do something outside of your job description?
Hmm. I would say maybe. It's not a great answer, but maybe. I think,
Yeah.
saying no, like flat out, like, no, that's not my job. While that might be true, I think thinking about what the outcome is for yourself when you say
Yeah.
no that way. Like,
Hmm.
what is saying no? How does that impact, my ability to grow here or to learn? Or what do I want to get out of like what am I expecting to happen if I say that's not my job? At the same time, when you're feeling overwhelmed or you're really busy or there's a lot going on and your manager asks you to do something that you is maybe somebody else's responsibility, right?
Hmm.
Sometimes it's just pitching in to help the team, but sometimes it's just too much. So
Yeah.
then I think it is just saying like, I'm happy to help out the team. I have all these other things going on. Can you help me prioritize, right?
Yeah.
Which things should I maybe not do so I can fit in this thing? I would say like that's more of like a soft yes or a soft no,
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
like,
Yeah.
can you help me understand where does that lie in the priorities of the things I'm already working on, and what
Yeah.
things should I give up so that
Yeah.
I can do this thing that you've asked me to do? But just saying no can definitely limit your ability to grow in a
Yeah.
position. And so if that's not important to you, then I would say like just, you can say no. Like, no, that's not my job. But that
Yeah.
is going to be limiting in how you're viewed as, a team player, or your willingness to try new things and do new things. So just thinking about
Right.
what outcome you want for yourself, and making that choice for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it could be an opportunity to do a totally different thing in the company. And if you do well at that thing, then maybe that could end up being really good for you.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you can look at it like not my job.
Right.
And so if you want to have that mindset, like it is going to never be your job then, right? Like
Right. Yeah,
you're not going
exactly.
to get
No one,
asked to do other things, right? And
no.
so and maybe that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm
If that's
not,
what you want.
yeah, if
Yeah.
that's what you want, then like that's fine. But just know that, right, like you might stumble across something that you'd like to do better than what you're doing.
Right.
Right? So
It's
if
an
you,
opportunity, an open door. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, if you look
Yeah.
at it that way, it can definitely shift your mindset from something negative to something positive.
Yeah. That's how you frame it.
Yeah.
The next one, what should you do if your boss doesn't respect your availability?
Mm. So I think this is a really challenging thing, especially since like work from home and
Mhm.
we had like the pandemic and people got really used to I can be home and do lots of things from home.
Right.
And so we started, working in all of our household chores while working from home. And we started, having doctor's appointments or things in the middle of the day because we're just home. And so
Right.
we can, manage that because we had a lot of freedom to do those things. I think it's important that, you as a person recognize when you're contributing to part of that concern of your
Yeah.
availability. Like being realistic that, like, a company is paying you to perform a service or a job or provide value to them, just like they're providing value to you by paying you.
Right.
So it has to be a give and take. I think within
Yeah.
reason, you do have personal things that you have to take care of. You do have, things that, you can't be available for.
Right.
And depending on what kind of job you have, if this is a professional workplace and you're not available during the times when you're needed,
Yeah.
that's not going to be a long-term good situation for anyone, right? 'Cause
No.
you're not
Yeah.
going to feel good about you're being asked to do something when you're not really available. And the business is also not getting what they need from you, at the times that they need it. So
Right.
I think that is a challenging question. And I think there's
Hmm.
give and take on both sides. Once you work at a company for a little bit, you'll get a sense of how flexible the company is in giving you space to make your personal incorporate your personal appointments and things and your availability in with what they need from you.
Right.
The hard part about that is there's some jobs where like you're working in a team and if you're not there when the team is there, it's really
Yeah.
hard to get stuff done. There's also jobs where you're a customer facing person, right? So you can't do that from home. You have to be there.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
Balancing that is really difficult, but I think it is just paying attention to what's practical and what works for you and what also
Yeah.
works for the company. Sometimes we get so focused on like accommodating our availability that we lose sight of the fact that we also committed to doing this job, service, providing this value for the business. And sometimes it's easy to look at them as like the bad guy, right? Like
Yeah.
they're making me come into
Yeah.
work and it is supposed to be, a give and take or like a more of a win-win, right? Like I'm getting something from you, you're getting something from me.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think that like you do lose sight sometimes of like I committed to this, like this is my job and they expect me to be here and like the bad guy thing is very true, I think. So that's a
Yeah.
great point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially there's like a lot of, return to work, right? So like
Yes.
we during the pandemic we worked from home, and now a lot of companies are asking people to come back into the office.
Right.
And people are upset about it. And I get it because you're used to a certain schedule and cadence of being
Hmm.
home.
Yeah.
At the same time, I would say that, we really lost a lot of ability to like work in a team and
Hmm.
have kind of a sense of community at work.
Yeah.
And if you were already established at your company when you were asked to work from home, you probably
Yeah.
kept those connections. But as a new
Right.
person, if you're working from home,
Yeah.
it's a huge obstacle to make those connections when you're not physically present with people.
Right.
So I would say humans, we're social beings, we're social
Yeah.
animals.
Yeah.
Even if you feel like you're an introvert and whatever, it's almost more important that you're forced to go and be
Right.
with people because your default is going to be, hide out at home. So,
Right.
but it does get unhealthy when you're not with other people. So,
Yes.
um, trying to look at it from that perspective too. I know it can be a chore to get
Yeah,
in
to
the
feel like you have
car,
to go in.
get on,
Yep.
right, get on the L, get on the tram, get on the bus, get in your car,
Yep.
and go somewhere. And but there are big benefits to doing that for yourself, not just for
Yes.
the business, but for yourself too.
Right. Feeling better after you've gone in sometimes is
Yeah,
really true.
yeah.
Yeah. Or changing it up just a little bit. What are some small things you can do to stand out in an entry level position?
Oh, so this is pretty straightforward. And this is something that like a lot, like for entry level positions, it might seem silly, but just showing up on time or even a few minutes early, being easy to work with. So, having a positive attitude and just being pleasant, are the two things that you can do to really differentiate yourself. And I know it seems silly, but it is really hard. As you know, I work with businesses and companies, and they're, recruiting people and hiring people. And it is really challenging sometimes to hire someone that shows up on time every day and is pleasant to work with, is just positive, and is like more, okay, we can do this. I've got this, instead of a kind of grouchy. So
Yeah.
those two things can definitely be a differentiator. I think going back to the question you asked earlier about like when to say no is just
Hmm.
also differentiating yourself as like volunteering for things or
Yeah.
saying yes to as many things as possible can also
Yeah.
really set yourself apart. Like I'm willing to try this,
Yeah.
can be some things to do.
Yeah. Absolutely. This is a good one because I feel like I'm personally struggling with this one right now, and I know a lot of people have told me that they struggle with this. How do you deal with imposter syndrome or feeling like you're not qualified enough in a new position?
So I love this question, and while I love this question, I really don't like the term imposter syndrome, and it's very popular. I totally
It
get it,
is.
but
Yeah.
it makes it sound like something's wrong with you, like you have like
Hmm.
a sickness or something, right? Because you have this
Yeah.
like
Right.
imposter syndrome, like I have a
Syndrome. Yeah.
virus, yeah. And this feeling has been around for I mean, I'm pretty old, right? My first job, I felt this way. That
Yeah.
like you're like, why am I here? I am not
Yeah.
qualified to be here. And it's just a lack of confidence in
Hmm.
because you haven't done this before. So you should know, first of all, that everyone feels this way. When you're in a room of people at work, everyone is either feeling that way or has felt that way at some time in their career.
Yeah.
Even people that sound very confident have felt that way. Your
Yeah.
CEO to your manager to everyone feels that way sometimes. Like, I am not qualified to do this. What am I doing here? So
Yeah.
it is just recognizing first that it's very normal and there's nothing wrong with you that you're feeling that way.
Right.
But also just giving yourself some permission to be like, it's okay that I don't know how to do this or that I'm feeling a little like not confident right now. I'm just going to do it anyway. I'm just going to give this a shot anyway. And knowing that, like, the people that hired you, that brought you in, believe in you, that you can do this, just believe in yourself.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
know that even if you make a mistake, everyone has made a mistake, right?
Yeah.
Everyone has not, done what they were supposed to do, and they're still here, right? They're still moving forward. It is a really normal, common thing to have that lack of confidence. But if you think about like, there's no reason you should feel confident in something that you haven't done before.
Yeah.
And if you
Yeah.
never go through that process, you'll never do anything new, right? You'll never get new
Right.
opportunities, right?
Yeah.
Because you never feel confident doing it. So,
Yeah.
it is, the more you move up in a company, you go from being a new hire frontline person and then you become a leader, and then the whole journey is full of opportunities for imposter syndrome.
Yeah,
They're
right. You're doing new
everywhere.
things all the time. It's almost like that's a good thing that like you're feeling like, oh gosh, what am I doing? Because it means that you are having a new opportunity to do something different or
Yes.
move up. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I would just say, like, if you're feeling that way, just know that it is totally normal
Yeah.
and expected, and just do it anyway. Because
Yeah.
then you don't get a chance to grow, right? You stay in that, like, not my job kind of zone.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the next one I have is how do you say no in general to your boss if you're scared to disappoint them?
Yeah. So I go back to like we talked a little bit about when you're feeling overwhelmed
Right.
and you or like your boss asks you to come in on a day where you just can't, you have like other commitments.
Right.
um, is just being honest and saying like, I just can't. And if it's more responsibility or something else, I go back to saying, I'm happy to try that out, but I don't understand how that would fit in with like the other things I'm doing. So can you help me prioritize or help me understand what thing I should stop doing to make room for
Hmm.
this? Because I really would
Yeah.
like to try this thing, but I'm worried that I know that I don't have time for it. So
Yeah.
can you help me figure out how I can make time or what I can let go of?
More of like a conversation instead of just like an assertion that you can't do it.
Absolutely. And then if
Yeah.
it's something like, hey, can you come in this weekend? And
Yeah.
you really
Right.
just can't, then you just need to say, I'm so sorry this weekend. It does not work. Like I can't.
Yeah.
I'm happy to help out, come in early Monday, or I'm happy to, maybe stay a little later on Monday, or if it was some other time, but I just can't this weekend. And just
Yeah.
being honest about it, maybe offering some other ways that you could help.
Yeah.
Some, especially new professionals, you can look at it with the mindset of like, I'm not supposed to work weekends. Like that's not a day I'm
Hmm.
supposed to work. So why are you even asking me?
Yeah.
Right. At the same time, like you could also see it as, this is an opportunity to show that like I care about this place. I'm
Hmm.
willing to pitch in when we need help. And I'm willing, like maybe it's a new opportunity that's going to come up, or I'm,
Yeah.
able to say yes to something.
Right.
So it's just kind of how you frame it. But I would say, if it's a pattern of, always asking you to do more and more and more and more, then
Yeah.
that's maybe a different conversation.
Right. Because
But
I was
like,
gonna say, I think some people think sometimes like if you keep saying yes, then like they're gonna keep asking you when it's not, when it's outside of your job description or it's outside of your availability, you're looked at as like they will say yes over and
yes.
over again.
And,
Yeah.
and they and that is true because it's easy to talk to you, right? I
Hmm.
go back to like, how can you differentiate yourself? Well, you're pleasant. So
Hmm.
if I ask you, you're not gonna be like,
Right.
yes. Right?
Yeah.
And then show up with kind of a crummy attitude and whatever.
Hmm.
Like you're going to say yes and then show up and do what you're supposed to do. And so it
Yeah.
makes it easy to ask you, right?
Yeah.
But then you also have to be able to say no sometimes. And if you notice that pattern, I go back to the first question you had, one of the first questions you asked about if I have a concern,
Yeah.
right? Like how do I
Yeah.
bring a concern to my manager? Like, that might be a concern, right?
Yeah.
Like I've noticed that when we have like when we need overtime or we need somebody to come in the weekends, that you're always asking me and we're not asking other people. And it is
Right.
becoming a little bit of a burden on like my personal life. It's starting to impact my personal life. So I'm just
Yeah.
I don't know how to handle that. So can you help
Yeah.
me, you know, like that's your cry for help, right? When a good
Right.
manager will say, "You're right, I'm sorry. I do need to spread, some of that out among
Yeah.
the rest of the team."
Yeah.
So then I go back to like, kind of like that would be a concern if you notice a pattern to bring it to your leader.
Yeah. That really works into our next one. So, what if you're afraid to say that? So, how can young workers build confidence when talking to authority figures at work?
Yeah, it's hard because and it really depends on what company you're at, how formal the
Hmm.
hierarchy is
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
how kind of and then it depends a lot on like actual individual and their personality and how scary they seem.
Hmm. Yeah.
I would say in my experience, again, I go back to saying most people are good. Most people want to do a good job. And the leaders that appear scary, I've worked with a lot of them. They don't want to be scary. They really
Hmm.
don't want you to be afraid of them.
Yeah.
But it's because they are maybe more serious or they're more direct, that
Hmm.
they seem intimidating.
Yeah.
So I would say that the only way I know how to get past this is to just do it. And
Hmm.
just even if you want to admit, you know, um, you know,
I'm a little nervous to talk to
yes,
you. Yeah.
yes, like yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous to talk to you, but I really have something I'm worried about, and I wanted to talk to you about it anyway.
Yeah.
Most of the time, if you present a little bit of humility and a little bit of vulnerability,
I
like
appreciate that. Yeah.
yes, and they'll be like, "Oh, yeah, come on in, let's talk," right? And you kind of can get over that hump because at the end of the day, we're all people, regardless of who that authority figure is. Like you
Yeah.
only get to see a little keyhole of them, like at work.
Right.
They also have a whole other part to themselves that you have no idea about. They have
Right.
worries and concerns, and they are stressed out about things that, they don't maybe let you in on at work.
Yeah.
But they're
Yeah.
still a whole person, and at one point, they were in your situation too. They
Yeah.
were a new employee, or they were someone that had a concern, and they were
Yeah.
looking to an authority figure and like, "Ugh."
And they were nervous too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
just reminding ourselves that like we're all human beings, and even the scary ones, are still people.
Right. Right.
And so, just again, like kind of what you said, Ella, like going in there and saying,
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous to talk to you.
Yeah.
I know you're a really important person here, but
Yeah.
I wanted to share this with you anyway.
Yeah. And I think that builds confidence too, that you can do that even though you're nervous about it and you're scared, and next time might not be as scary. Yeah. So I think that that's all the questions that I have. But if I think of more, I'd love to do this again and ask you some more. But I think this was really helpful and will be helpful for other emerging leaders in their fields.
Yeah, Ella, those were great questions. I hope I answered them okay.
You did great.
I mean, just really based on, just being in this field for so long and helping, teams work better, but also like new and emerging leaders and frontline leaders do what they do. That these were really great questions. So, I really appreciate just you taking the time to interview me and share some of these insights with younger professionals and people that are worried about these things. So, yeah, maybe we'll do this again for another extended version of a TeamWorks talk. But
Yeah.
until next time, we'll see you around.
Yeah. Thank
All right.
you.
All right.